Hello students, next we move to module 2, which is trying to analyze the frequency domain representation of continuous time signals. The next module, module 3, will be the frequency domain representation of discrete time signals. But module 2 is completely consisting of the frequency domain representation of continuous time signals. To give an introduction of the topic, for any continuous time signal, right now we have seen the signal to operate in the time domain. That means we have seen that the signal is basically with respect to time. So with respect to time, it may have different values, a continuous time signal. Now when we say that the signal has been drawn with respect to time, it means that the signal is in time domain. That means we are trying to view the signal in time domain. A signal can be viewed in frequency domain also, which basically gives a kind of representation of how the signal is going to be in the frequency. That means which all frequencies are present. And there are zero frequencies and there are higher frequencies, and there is a particular limit up to which the frequencies are available. For mathematical point of view, we have negative frequencies also, but as it is being drawn here, it is basically the mirror image of the positive axis. That means we have only positive frequencies. The negative frequencies only exist mathematically, and the frequency domain representation will always be an even signal like this. So what does this mean? This means that if we take any frequency, let's say that there is a frequency of, let's say, 1 kilohertz, then there is a frequency of 1 kilohertz. 1 kilohertz in this particular waveform, there is a wave of 1 kilohertz, a sinusoidal wave of 1 kilohertz in this particular waveform, which has a magnitude of, let's say, whatever is the value here. So that is how we basically look at the signal with respect to frequency domain. That is how the signals are with respect to frequency. And when we say that we want to represent the continuous time domain, continuous time signal in frequency domain, it has to be taken from time domain to frequency domain using a mathematical formula or mathematical tool, which is basically Fourier series or Fourier transform. Now you might be asking, what is the difference between Fourier series and Fourier transform? They are one and the same, with the only difference that Fourier series is basically done for a periodic signal, that means a periodic time domain signal, whereas a Fourier transform is basically applied for a periodic signal. That means a signal which is not periodic. So based on this concept, we are able to convert a signal in time domain to a signal in frequency domain. Actually, it's not a signal in frequency domain. It is trying to find out which all frequencies are present in the signal. So when I said Fourier series and Fourier transform, the equations are different, but they mean one and the same thing. Now take the case of a periodic signal. A periodic signal can be drawn something like this. It's a waveform which is repeating itself from minus infinity to plus infinity, and there is a repeated time period, let's say capital T, and it keeps on repeating that same signal again and again. In this case, basically we will get frequencies which are harmonics of 1 by t. So suppose if this is 0, you will get frequencies at 1 by t, 2 by t, 3 by t, like that for different harmonics of 1 by t, or multiples of 1 by t. So you will have at 0 you may have some frequency, at 1 by t you will have some amplitude, at 2 by t you will have some, and then at 3 by t, let's say, like that it will keep on going. Here also the signal is going up to infinity, starting from minus infinity. Okay, now as I have already told you that it will have negative frequencies also, so the same mirror image will be there even in the negative axis. So this is going to be minus 1 by t, this is going to be minus 2 by t, this is going to be minus 3 by t, and like that it will go. So this is basically the signal, this is a periodic signal. So I will write, suppose this signal is x of t, then I will write that this signal is x of f, capital X of f. Always I will write capital letters of the small letter that is there in time domain, I will write the capital letters. And this process, this particular process, you can get it with the help of what is called as Fourier series. Okay, whereas in the case of a periodic signal, sorry, the case of an aperiodic signal, you may have a signal which is not periodic in nature. It may be any signal, but it is not periodic in nature. Let's say this is x of t. Then you will get a frequency domain which is also continuous in nature and not discrete in nature, as you can see here. Here we had all discrete frequencies, one at 0, one at 1 by t, 2 by t, 3 by t, multiples of 1 by t, isn't it? So that you will not have in the frequency domain, and you will have something, let's say some frequency domain which will be continuous. It will be continuous, that means it is having all the frequencies between this and some maximum frequency fm. So we can say that this particular signal will have a range of frequencies from 0 to fm. For example, our voice signal or my voice signal that you are just now hearing, it exists from close to 300 hertz to 3 kilohertz. That's the human voice signal range. So like that, different signals will have different range of frequencies, and this you will be able to find out with what is called as Fourier transform. And what we are going to look in this particular module is how you get the Fourier series of certain periodic signal, and how you get the Fourier transform equation and find out the frequency domain, or do the frequency domain analysis of a periodic signal. So these are the two things that we are going to study in this module. Now, before we start the Fourier series, let us look at some of the conditions that have been set to define if a particular periodic signal will have a Fourier series or not. They are basically called as the Dirichlet condition. For any periodic signal x of t to have a Fourier series, it must satisfy certain conditions which are called as Dirichlet's condition. It is pronounced as Dirichlet's condition. So the conditions are, in each period, because it's a periodic signal, in each period, 4 things have to be taken care of. There are 4 conditions in each period. The first condition that we have to take care is that x of t should be single valued. That means that at any time t, there should be only a single value for a signal. For example, you know that in the case of a pulse, we will basically draw like this, isn't it? Then if I ask you what is the value at this particular time, then what will you choose? Will you choose 0 or will you choose 5? Well, according to Dirichlet's condition, you cannot have 2 different values at the same time. So even though when we draw a wave like this, we actually are drawing something that goes like this, which is having a rise time. So if you are going to take a time, at a time there will be only one value. Okay, so the first condition that has to be taken care is that x of t should be single valued. The second condition is x of t has only a finite number of maximas and minimas. It basically means that the signal should vary a finite number of times and should not vary infinite number of times. Then the third condition is on the discontinuities, that is x of t has a finite number of discontinuities. And the last one, which is very important, is that x of t is absolutely integrable, within one period, so over one period. That means if you are going to integrate the signal x of t over one period, that means from 0 to t time period, the value of x of t, if you are going to integrate, then its value should be less than infinite. So all these 4 conditions are the Dirichlet's condition, and the Dirichlet's condition are important to see if a signal will have a Fourier series or not. We will not go too much into these conditions because generally in examinations you will get questions of functions which are generally have Fourier series. So there is not much that you have to look into it, but basically if ever in your life you are stuck with a signal whose Fourier series you are not able to find, you have to basically check whether the signal is following the Dirichlet's condition. Next, the Fourier series can be defined in 2 terms. The Fourier series can be defined in 2 terms. That means two forms. One is called as the trigonometric form. So I will draw it again. One is called as the trigonometric form, and the second one is called as the exponential form. So we have to, try to see how to define the Fourier series in trigonometric form and exponential form. First, we will start with the trigonometric form. The trigonometric form of Fourier series basically comes from Fourier's understanding of any periodic signal. What Fourier said was, if you would take two sinusoidal waves of different frequency and add them together, you will get a wave which is basically periodic but has some different shape. If you add one more wave to that, a third wave of again a different frequency, you will get again a waveform which has a different kind of look, but still it is periodic with the same period. It keeps on repeating itself. Now this understanding of the periodic signal led Fourier to basically come up with a statement that if you take any periodic signal, like this, then you can actually get this waveform by adding several periodic waveforms of different frequencies. Adding them all up together, you will basically get this wave, this periodic wave back. To give it a more mathematical understanding, what Fourier said was that if you would have a cosine waveform of different frequency, so if there is a fundamental frequency, if you take multiple different frequencies of the value of n going from all the way from 0 to infinity, that means infinite number of frequencies which are multiple of omega naught. That means omega naught, twice omega naught, 3 times omega naught, like that, where omega naught is of course 2 pi f, where f is 2 pi divided by t, where t is the period, the basic fundamental period of the periodic signal. Then with that omega naught and multiples of that frequency, if you would add multiple cosine waveforms and you would add multiple sine waveforms of again harmonics of omega naught, and then finally you add with a you add it with a DC signal, then you will be able to get this signal back. So let us put what he has said in a mathematical equation which is understandable to all. A periodic signal x of t with period capital T can be represented by a set of sine, cosine and DC signals. Such that you can write the equation of x of t to be a combination of some DC signal A naught plus summation of from n is equal to 1 to infinity cosine of multiples of omega naught t and sinusoidal of multiple frequencies of n omega naught t, each having different amplitude, like cosine having an amplitude of an for each different value of n, and the sinusoidal having a amplitude of bn for each different value of n. So I'll put this in brackets also because the summation is applied to both. And this is basically the formula that Fourier had given. And you can find out the value of A naught. You can find out the value of A naught by the formula 1 by t integrating within a period. So let the period start at t0 and end at t0 plus some time period t, which is the time period of the periodic signal. So it's not that always we will start from 0 and integrate it up to t. It may start from 1 and go up to t plus 1. So that is why we have written t naught. Okay, so it's always not necessary that the periodic signal can be set to start at 0, but most of the time we will say that it starts at zeros and goes all the way up to t, and we integrate x of t dt within that period. Okay, so this is for finding out A naught. Similarly, for finding out an, basically we use the correlation equation, which is 2 by t integration again from t0 to t0 plus capital T, and then xt multiplied with cos n omega naught t, cos n omega naught t dt. So this is to find out an, and similarly for finding out bn, which is for sine, we use the formula bn is equal to 2 by t integral t naught to t naught plus capital T x of t multiplied with sine n omega naught t dt. So using these set of equations, you can rewrite the signal x of t in such a form, and that is basically the Fourier series representation of a signal x of t in trigonometric form. So we'll stop here, and the next video we will see how to solve a problem, how to represent a periodic signal x of t having a periodic nature, how to represent that in a trigonometric Fourier series representation. Thank you.